Hello everybody and welcome back to On Point HQ, and in this video we're going to be having a look at my bolt action Australian army. Now, this isn't technically a showcase. I've sort of done one of those before, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So what's today's video about? It's more of just a chat about the army really, and why I absolutely love this range from Warlord Games. I know what people are saying, like, Steve, you've painted close to 6,000 points of Germans. How are they not your favourite army? Well, I'm not saying that they're not my favourite, but this range from Warlord, it's one of the most characterful ranges I've seen produced, and I just really enjoyed every minute of painting it. And what will come as a bit of a shock, the whole army, everything in this army apart from the Matilda, is metal. The entire range is metal figures, and I think we all know my views on metal figures, but I absolutely enjoyed every second of painting this army. So I just thought I'd run through the different units, the differences between them. I've only played one game with these, so I can't really give you any tactical or game-based information on the very short game of bolt action I had using them. But I'm going to talk you through the range, show you what they look like, and there's no kit bashing done on this either. It's all metal, so that all these figures are as is, but they're all based up in jungle basing, and there's a few figures and teams in there not actually from the Australian range, but we'll get to that when we reach those particular teams and units. So let's just mess with the camera first so I can show you, just run through each individual unit, and let's have a bit of a chat. So this is my HQ section. Now, as you'll see, he's not an Australian figure. he's actually a radio operator from the metal Chindit section, Chindit box by Warlord Games. Got a radio on his back. So what I can often do, or what I plan to do, is either run him as the assistant to my my lieutenant here, or run him as a forward observation team dude type person. But again, what's interesting is how well these Chindit models, they blend so well with the Australian range. So if you've got any spare Chindit models lying around, they will blend seamlessly into your Australians. So as you can see, there we go, lovely jungle based HQ. What I've also done as well for my major is again used a Chindit figure. So this is one of the Chindit HQ sections. There we go. One from the metal blister, just painted up in the same colours, and he's gonna be my counts as major. Now with the Australians you get some really cool medic models, and the first one is this, and this is Bull Allen. Now he came with the Papua New Guinea book. This is Bull Allen, and he's a special character in the Australian book, so I can run him as a medic. But my absolutely this is literally one of my favourite models that Warlord Games has produced across any range. It's this medic team here with the Papuan stretcher bearers. I absolutely love this model. It's just so cool. So you got the poor dude who's been shot to pieces there, and he's not looking at all happy, shall we say. But the whole model is just so good. And we got the medic there as well. And so the Papuans, they do act as stretcher bearers, and the more stretcher bearers, the greater the range that you can save, or potentially save, your wounded comrades. But that's my medic. I have no words to describe how much I enjoyed painting that model. It was so good. So with those out of the way, let's move on to the main infantry units. Now, the Australians get quite a few diverse infantry units, but I think we'll just start off with our bog standard. Oh, we can pick this up. Jungle infantry section. So as you can see, the mix of slouch hats and tin helmets there. They're also armed with Owen's submachine guns, which is a unique weapon to the Australian army. So they can take rifles, submachine guns, and an LMG team in there as well. But the models are just so full of character. I know I keep going on about it, but they really are. Each figure looks like a proper personality, a proper character. And I think that's why I enjoyed painting them so much. It wasn't just a grind of painting out section after section. They all have some individual charm about them. But this is the jungle infantry section. These are going to be the standard go-to infantry sections. Next to them, you have look at this one first. So this is the independent commando section, and again, good mix of rifles, SMGs, and an LMG in there as well. I believe these have either stubborn or tough fighter rules, but again, really nice models to paint and work on. I used exactly the same paint scheme all the way through my Australians. So it's a base coat of Vallejo Russian uniform green, a wash of Athonian camo shade, and then just very basic highlights. And then the jungle basing, which I've mentioned quite a few times on this channel. So these are the independent commandos. Again, I think they've got tough fighter or stubborn, but I've never actually got to use them yet, which is a bit of a shame because I think they're a fantastic looking section. Another infantry option are the so-called chocos, the Australian militia. So these are dressed a bit differently. These are meant to have still have the uniforms of when they were fighting in North Africa in the Western Desert. They're largely equipped with rifles. Now, instead of having a Bren gun, they've actually got, if I can find him, there we go, we've actually got a Lewis gun there. So these have got sort of outdated equipment, outdated uniforms. They're looking a bit raggedy as well. And I think these are always run as inexperienced, and they're green as well. But again, lovely models to paint. And it was something a bit different from painting the green over and over again. These are all painted in khaki with a mix of, again, slouch hats, helmets. Some are very irregular uniforms. So we've got one dude there who's not even wearing anything. We've got a guy at the back with like just a jumper on, and the rest have got raggedy, ripped uniforms. But they were, again, really lovely models to paint. Again, jungle basing. But these, I just really enjoy painting them. Just a lovely range of figures. So after the militia, we have another one of my favourites. This is the Papuan native irregulars. Is it irregulars? I may have just made that up. I don't know where that came from. But these are the Papuan troops. I believe these do have tough fighters and also jungle craft, so they can forward deploy, and they're hidden when they forward deploy, which is really good. But again, really great models, great sculpts. And again, something a bit different to the green that I was painting, but it's just a fantastic section. Again, full of character. These are all armed with rifles, but the NCO has got a submachine gun. I've used these in the one game that I did play with them. I did use these, and they didn't fare too well. We were playing. It was at night, so there was nighttime rules. There was mud. I think they got absolutely decimated by a Japanese infantry section at close range. Close combat, these guys are they're really good in close combat, I believe, and I've actually got one there, but from what I've read. But again, a really nice looking section. And the last of my infantry sections is one that's largely cobbled together from a whole host of figures. Now this is the jungle engineer section. Now, if I've alluded to many times on the channel, I love flamethrowers in bolt action. So there we have one there. I just think they're great weapons. So this is largely comprised of spare figures and chindits. But as you can see, so the back 5 are all chindit models. So they're British and Australian chindits. But the figures work really well. So they've got the slouch hats. Largely the same weapons. I mean, there's one of the guys at the back there, he's got an American carbine. In fact, two of them have. And then we've got Lee Enfields and Tommy guns as well. But for the most part, I mean, they just fit right in, don't they? They just look like Australian figures. But again, it was a lot of fun painting these as well. Never got to use these, but I hope to one day. One of my favourites is this Chindit guy at the front here with the bandaged arm. You see that? Again, some very, very characterful figures. Again, really enjoyed painting those. Last of the infantry sections, and it's a small one. Now this is a Australian scout team. So as you can see, they're very lightly armed, all machine guns, irregular uniforms, and they've got lots of leaves and foliage on their helmets. Again, I really, really enjoy painting these. Such a lovely little team to paint, and again, really, really evocative. Lots of character. So that's the scout team. That again, they can forward deploy and can deploy hidden. So quite handy in games of bolt action. So that's the main kind of infantry options out the way. You also get quite a few support options. So start off with this. Now this is the medium machine gun team, so the Vickers. And again, just such a really, really nice team weapon to paint up. What I like about these as well is the Australians. They're not festooned with loads of equipment, so you can actually paint them really relatively quickly, which is something I like to do. Again, jungle base, and that's the medium machine gun team. Now I've actually got two light mortar. I've got three mortar teams. I'm even forgetting how much I've got here. So we'll start off with this. This is the medium mortar team. My use of mortars across any army in bolt action is notoriously bad. I can't remember if I've ever done actually any serious damage with them. But again, really, really nice model. That guy covering his ears there. Again, it's relatively quick to paint as well because there's not that much equipment knocking around. Now, I've also done as well. I've got two light mortars. Now, the first one is a standard light mortar from the Australian range, as you can see there. Very small little mortar. What I also did as well was use a light mortar there from the Chindit team. If I wanted to run them as sort of a commando section using a light mortar. Again, really, really nice looking model. The Chindits as well have got the head swap option, so most of them you can swap the heads around on them. There's different slouch hats. So that gives me three mortars. So I've got two light mortars and a medium mortar. Also got a sniper team. Occasionally I take snipers just for the psychological impact of having your opponent's HQs, etc., keeping their heads down. Again, really nice model. I was tempted to do a lot more, put a few more trees on this, but in the end I thought, nah, I think I'll just go with the standard jungle basing that I often use. And again, this is another option unique to the Australian Army. This is the short 25 pounder. So the barrel's has been shortened, and there we go. Again, a really lovely model to work on this. Again, it's based on my standard. Bit of the foliage just dropped off. That's not good. MDF, but again, really nice model. And as adverse as I am to painting flesh, I think these came out quite well. I was quite worried about the amount of flesh that was on display on this model, but it came out quite well. Speaking of iconic Australian things, here we have the jungle scheme Matilda. This is the old resin kit. I know not long after I was given this as a present. The plastic kit came out, but this was a really nice kit to put together. Yeah, there we go. Again, base all my vehicles, as I am wont to do with everything. But yeah, it's a really nice tank kit. This went together really well, painted up quite easily. But yeah, definitely an iconic jungle tank, the Matilda. And last but not least is something that I wasn't going to include, but my girlfriend made me paint this up because it's a mule and she likes mules and donkeys, and this is affectionately being christened as Mr. Mule. Now, this is actually from the Chindit box. I don't know if I can use it as anything in game, but yeah, she convinced me that she wanted Mr. Mule to be painted up. If anyone can think of a better name than Mr. Mule, pop it in the comment sections below, and I'll be eternally grateful, because Mr. Mule isn't the most creative name now, is it? But there we go. So that's it. That's the entire range. Like I said, I didn't want to do like a proper showcase. I just wanted to talk about why I like this army so much. It's just such a well sculpted army, absolutely just packed full of character, and it's all metal as well, which is not something I thought I would really enjoy. Painting an all metal army, you know, very little in the way of kit bashing. In fact, no kit bashing in this army whatsoever. But I'm hoping to get, once we're back to normality, I'm hoping to get a few more games using my Australians, because I really want to learn how they play, and we do play a lot of jungle based games of bolt action. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you do get a chance to paint any of these models up, absolutely go for it. They're really good, and you won't regret it. Fantastic army from Warlock Games, just fantastic stuff. If you've got any comments or questions about this or gaming in general, just leave them down below in the comment section, and I'll certainly respond to all comments and questions. But as always, thanks for watching, do take care, may dice roll well, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So bye bye for now.